Hey everybody, welcome to UltraChenTV. My name is Ultra David.
And I'm James Chen. How's everybody going?
So we have a special guest today, as you can see. This is Snake Eyez. What we're going to be doing is talking with him briefly. You know, we want to get to know you a little bit. And then also what we want to do is have some match analysis and talk about some games that you have played and your thoughts on them and all that sort of fun, meaty stuff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if people don't know, the first episode of the Cultivation series came out yesterday. And it kind of covers you growing up and getting into video games. Narrated very well, by the way, by Alex Fye. I was actually really impressed.
I did not expect that, but that was cool.
And honestly, the dialogue that they wrote was really good.
That was
I really liked the script. There was just a lot of, just for bringing a lot of people who don't know fighting games in, I felt like that was really good. So
yeah, that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
So, you want to start with personal stuff?
Sure. Let's talk to...
Just dive right in.
I mean, yeah. No,
what is your first name?
Wait, I thought it was pretty obvious that it was Darryl.
Right, because the thing is, in the Cultivation episode, your friend Luis was like, oh, I've known Darryl forever. But then everyone calls you Steve.
Yeah, how come I called you Steve for like 5 years? Why did I call you Steve for 5 years?
Okay, Steve is actually my second name. And so, like, a lot of people who know me who are like my family, they call me by Steve. So then when other people hear them call me by Steve, they're like, oh, why did you tell me your name is Darryl?
Yeah, that was super confusing to me for like a couple of years.
Yeah.
So.
That's not the first time I've gotten that.
Dude, I've even said to people at like a Wednesday night fights or whatever, I was like, oh, is Darryl playing? And they're like, who's Darryl?
But I've also said that as Steve, and they're like, who's Steve?
Right.
So, all right.
That's a big confusion. Right?
What do you prefer us to call you for today?
Yeah.
Darryl.
You want Darryl?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Darryl it is. You know, in that Cultivation series, I imagine a bunch of it's going to be going into your backstory, but I don't know. I guess let's talk about that anyway.
Okay.
How long have you been playing?
I've been playing Street Fighter in general for about 7 years, and it's been a long road. Like I didn't just.
I know, 7 years. Yeah.
Long.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Sorry about that.
I know.
God.
I mean, for me, that's pretty long.
Did you play it? Or I mean, did you play earlier but not competing until 7 years ago? Is that what you mean?
Well, when I was about 11, I played, I dabbled with it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know how to do, like, a Hadouken or a Dragon Punch.
Yeah.
But then when I started playing professionally, was back in probably 08, 09, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting because, so which one did you start with? World Warrior or Champion Edition? Or
I started with Hyper Fighting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No wonder you picked Zangief. He's so fun.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's very
so
fun in that game.
Yeah.
But, I didn't really know about any of the negative edge stuff.
Oh,
so I was missing out big time.
Dude,
makes
Kick
sense,
Lariat.
yeah.
It's just Kick
Yeah,
Lariat.
Kick Lariat's
so
pretty
fun.
sick in that game.
That's all I did, really.
Yeah.
Just move through stuff.
But so I mean, it's really interesting because when I watched that first episode, it literally kind of went from let's go ahead and try. I won Evo. I mean,
I know, yeah. There was this big missing area, right?
I feel where did you get the practice? Did you have a lot of good people to play against and such?
Well, I started off in Hyper Fighting and the netcode for that game was just so bad, right? But then HD Remix came out.
Man, you meant Hyper Fighting as the Xbox Live Arcade Hyper Fighting.
Yes.
not the arcade Hyper Fighting. Look at James's expression. Oh man, that's fantastic.
I'm done with this interview.
I know. Yeah, no,
that's the struggle.
I remember that. That netcode was really terrible.
It was bad.
Yeah.
But then right after that, HDR dropped, and netcode is probably among the best even till now. And I just grinded repeatedly over and over, and I came across some pretty good guys online.
Okay.
I didn't really know about these guys. I didn't really know if they were good or not, but as I started playing them, they were consistently beating me, and I was we traded games on and off. And these guys were Afro Legends, DJV,
Wow.
and keep in mind at the time I didn't know who these guys were.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The only experience I had from playing them was just that. The only impression I had from playing them was just that these guys are pretty good. And then later on, I looked them up. I'm like, oh, these guys are actually, professional players.
Legit, yeah.
So then I'm like, wait a minute. If I'm trading games with these guys and beating them consistently like this, and I'm getting better at matchups like this, I could probably win.
The interesting thing about it is, though, you see a lot of people who, when they try to play fighting games, they only play online. And they're like, I don't know how to learn. Like, how am I learning in this? Like, was there any kind of epiphany, or was there sort of like a light bulb that went off at one point where you're like, you know what? I can totally learn while playing online, and I get this, and I get the mind games and all that stuff.
No, that's a good question. Basically, I didn't really have an established game plan against certain characters. I just I was like, okay, if he throws a fireball from this distance, I'm going to do this because he can't really do anything after that.
Right.
Or if he throws a fireball at this distance, I'm just going to block, or I'm going to jump at this distance, you know? And then slowly, as I started learning those type of things, I went into training mode, and I'm like, how much priority does this character have on this move, and what can I do to beat it? And then I figured out, like, what move of Zangief's beats what move of everyone else's, every single button.
Wow.
Also, I figured out, like, how far a certain character's throw range is, because if they could throw me at a certain range, then that's actually bad, because what I want to do is push them out of range, so I can SPD them. Yeah. And I always had trouble against characters like Blanca and Dawson and the Honda,
right?
Because they have among the best normal throw range.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, I love that answer because hard work.
Yeah, but then
that's what it was. It was hard work,
it
right?
Was very hard work.
Yeah.
So then after that, I was like, okay, who's the best player with Zangief? Let me go and watch him. And then I kind of like copied some of that stuff, but then added on my own stuff to it, and that's how I got over the top.
Dude,
that's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you won Evo. Was it like a huge shock, or were you just like, "Hey, this is easy"?
Well, actually, when I first went to Evo, before I even had to play, I was like extremely nervous. Like my heart was pounding like crazy. I was sweating.
Yeah.
And I forgot how old I was, but I was probably like 21 or something like that. But yeah. So as I was playing, there were a whole bunch of people behind me watching, and I'm like, okay. and everyone like picked the Honda against me, and I was pretty much ready for that matchup. Like I just went into that matchup pretty confident.
Right.
But then I played against Serlin, the maker of the game. And he just picked Vega. No, he picked Blanca first, and I kind of just ran through him, and then he picked Vega, and I beat him, and he was just like, his mind was shattered. He didn't know what was going on.
That's awesome.
And as I progressed throughout the brackets, I reached top 32, and I had to play against Damdai. And there was some really, so this situation happened with me and him where he counterpicked me with the Honda when we had to play.
Really?
And I beat him. Then he was like, "Oh, my stick is messed up. It's on left stick instead of D-pad, because how you get that slight delay." I'm like, okay, let's just start it over. I already beat him, by the way. So I'm like, let's just start it over. Wow. He picked the Honda again, and I beat him again. And after that, he was pretty salty. But then it turned out we didn't even have to play in the first place.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Wow, that
it was
sucks.
a bracket
So I'm just
mess up?
You just got some practice.
Damdai was probably happy.
I know.
He was extremely happy.
Yeah.
So in top 8, I overheard Damdai and John Choi talking, and I was still pretty nervous, because I'm like, what other opponents do I have to play, And they were saying that I was gonna win. They're like, he's gonna win. I already know. And I'm just sitting there like, what? I'm gonna win. So that really boosted my confidence.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
What did you think about that character, HDR Zangief?
HDR Zangief? Well, there was something that I said when I won. I was like, I won Evo with the lowest tier character in the game. Okay,
I remember that.
I remember that too. Okay, all right.
Okay.
He's not the lowest tier character.
Okay.
But I don't think he's top tier either.
No.
I think he's like
tier,
maybe like either top or a high mid.
Yeah, I would say mid.
Or like low
yeah.
mid or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I played Zangief in Super Turbo until HDR came out, and then I so hated HDR Geef that I quit Street Fighter 2 Zangief entirely.
Really?
I just stopped playing him. Yeah.
Oh man.
He's really good.
He's very good.
Yeah.
So I mean, at that point though, so you won HDR for Evo, and I still remember now at Wednesday Night Fights, like when it was at Hollywood Park and Casino. You were still mostly playing HDR.
HDR.
You would play ST for a while, and you actually really like ST now, more than HDR, or is it about the same at this point?
I like how Zangief is harder to play, but I don't like how Zangief's moves kind of cater to playing on arcade stick. Because since I play with thumbs, I kind of have to switch my hands to do lariat and then go back to like that. So it's a big hassle for me.
Right.
But if it wasn't for that, though, I would love.
Okay, that makes sense.
A lot more.
Yeah.
So again, where I was going with this is that you were playing that, and then you decided to start trying Street Fighter 4.
Yes.
What made you decide to go into that game?
Well, at Hollywood Sports Casino, everyone stopped playing HD remakes. So I'm like, I actually want to play against people, not the computer.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? I'll give Street Fighter 4 a try. And coming from HD Remix going to Street Fighter 4 is such a huge it's a big difference in between both games, because the general mechanics that Street Fighter 4 have is so much more than HD Remix.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sure.
And I just wasn't used to things like not being able to sweep someone when they jump, and sweep being unsafe on block.
Right, because they give low roundhouses. Dude, I miss it.
Yeah, that was a good button.
SFT low roundhouse. I miss
you
that.
You guys know. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember before you started playing SF4 seriously, thinking that I wish that you played Street Fighter 4 seriously. It wasn't just me. I remember talking about this with you, and other people were talking about it. Like, I really wish you'd pick it up.
Yeah, man. I used to always hear that. I'm like, I need to pick this game up. I need to just start playing it and just say forget HD remakes.
Yeah.
And what was it like trying to learn a brand new game? Was it hard at first, or did it feel kind of natural to you after a while?
Well, it seemed extremely hard because I'm using the same character in the newer game. So I'm trying to do the old things that I used to do in the newer game, and it's everything he has in Street Fighter 2. He can't do in Street Fighter 4. Like, there's no safe green hand, there's no safe sweep.
Right.
His jumps are like a lot different. Like, you can kind of jump and do roundhouse, and he twirls in the air. I had that in Street Fighter 4.
Right.
And it's just such a big difference. It's hard to convert from those games.
Right. And so I can always say that I think I have a winning record against you in Street Fighter 4 because I played you super early on, and Cammy Zangief was not a good matchup at the time.
Wasn't.
So yes, I'm never playing you ever again in Street Fighter 4.
So you're 1-0.
Yeah, I think so. Wow. So there we go.
What a jerk.
Vanilla Cammy was something else. Right?
Yeah, she was super good in that game. So
I even had a hard time playing Street Fighter Cross Tekken in Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that a lot of people have trouble with, especially if you're playing the same character. And kind of get mixed up with which one is which.
Right.
Anyway, so you have been playing SF4 now for a long time and have been doing really well.
Yeah.
And part of that was going to Japan.
Going to Japan.
Yeah.
Yes.
How was that?
Going to Japan was amazing. Outside from the gaming experience, when I first went out there, people were looking at me like, whoa, and I can understand that.
Yeah.
And that part was pretty funny, but the arcade scene out there is so ridiculous compared to out here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like we don't even really have arcades out here.
Yeah. Even here anymore, really.
Yeah. But like, you just see like this random player like in a suit, like crosses his legs, starts smoking a cigarette, sitting at like the ST cab and the Street Fighter 4 cab. And you'll play him, you're like, this guy doesn't really play. He just came from work, and he actually. I got beat by plenty of guys actually at the arcade, and I'm just like, man, what is going on? And I'm like, would he beat me if I was playing on pad? Because I'm I'm a pad player, so I'm like, would he beat me if I was playing on pad? I don't know. So I kind of slapped the arcade. Like, this is not motivating at all. I came here to learn things. So I went back to my hotel and started playing online. Right. Now the online out there is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's a small country. Yeah. And their online average speeds are much higher than US average speeds. So you get there's only green bars. There's no yellow bar, no red bar, none of that stuff. I mean, no pseudo green bar.
Because Kim1234 of Yubiken actually got you and played a bunch of exhibition matches online, right? Which is really cool.
Yeah, I played against Hygajit and Dashiell, and I kind of got bodied. And Dashiell, his connection actually wasn't green. His connection was yellow, which was very surprising because that was probably the only guy I've ever played in Japan. His connection wasn't great.
Okay.
Interesting.
And he must have lived pretty far away. So.
All right.
Yeah. But overall, it was a really fun experience.
Wow. So how long were you out there for total?
I was out there for a little over 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. So I saw for Tokyo Game Show, I saw K-Brad, Eduardo, Latif. There's a Chun-Li player from Kuwait that's really good who was out there. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
And I saw I saw Nemo. I saw a few more guys out there. But then right after those guys left, I was there for another two and a half weeks.
Okay.
Just grinding.
Do you feel like it helped you?
It definitely did.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Since my Zangief is actually pretty good, I'm not going to play him too much. I'm going to take this opportunity to learn a new character. So I started grinding Evil Ryu pretty hard.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is something that I wanted to talk to you a little bit about too. Is obviously the Zangief is the main, but earlier in the year we saw your Evil Ryu a couple of times, and then we haven't seen it since. So is that something that you're going to be bringing out more?
Well, the thing is, that's kind of I would call him my pocket character, but it's kind of like my secret character in a sense because I don't want people to see too much of him. I want it to be just kind of a surprise when I bring him out and people are like, I don't know how to play against this, and they just slip up and allow me to win 2 matches.
Right.
I can see that.
That's that's the idea.
Was it at which tournament was it? You beat Bonchan with Evil Ryu.
That was final round.
Final round. Okay. Yeah. But so while you were in Japan and you were playing all those, were you mostly playing in the arcades or did you play at home? Like online?
I played mostly at home, but I went to so many different arcades. I went to like Arcade Hey, both title stations. I went to like this other random arcade, and surprisingly, when I went to this arcade, there was people on the 4th floor playing Street Fighter, like a bunch of them. And I'm like, this is a random arcade. Why are people up here?
Yeah.
Why do they even have Street Fighter 4? And I'm just like, man, Japan's
cool.
The resources out there to get good.
Yeah.
So the reason why I asked though is because recently I've been having conversations with people. Vi even tweeted out that he feels like the Street Fighter 5 generation is going to be largely pad players because a lot of people are going to start on the pad probably and play that way. And some people were like, well, that's because they don't know any better. They should go to the stick and stuff like that. I mean, do you even feel like that's a necessity? Obviously, you're better on pad. What do you have? What statement do you have for the people who are like, maybe I should learn stick?
Well, I feel like stick is like the thing to play on, but I feel like depending on what character you play with, you can get by on pad. Okay. But I do feel like stick is better though. There's some option selects that I actually kind of have trouble with because I don't play on stick, or it's because I don't play with the claw. Style.
Right.
At the same time, there are people who think that pad has an advantage.
Yeah.
Because the other person can't hear what you're doing and can't see it quite as well.
Well, you know what? Kind of body motions,
Right, and also that you can more quickly do some motions with the thumb rather than like doing the whole 360.
You know what? That's actually really controversial.
I think so too. I was wondering what your thoughts were on it. Yeah.
There's you know what? I actually do feel like left-right motions are faster on pad because. When you're playing on stick, if you do that, there's a chance you can like hit up or down on accident. But on pad, it's a lot easier to hit left and right. Also, there's a technique on stick called flicker, and that's used to do instant SPDs in ST. There's a lot of Japanese grapplers who use that. They basically they flick the joystick and it makes a little mini circle, and they hit punch and it does an SPD. Yeah, no one knows that in Street Fighter 4.
That's interesting. Huh. Yeah. I never even heard about that. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Well, something else that I wanted to talk with you about too was an idea that's been out last couple of days. There was a video that included a sort of theory on fighting game players from Laugh, a player who's in the U.S. and is now in Korea, and has done really well in some tournaments. It was sort of the mix between heart players, mind players, and body players. And so our body is people who have good execution, they just good manual dexterity, they can react quickly. Heart is people who have good reads. And then brain, or mind, I guess, are people who have sort of the more scientific point of view where they'll plan in advance, they will look for tech, all that sort of stuff.
That's really interesting.
The mix, yeah. what do you think about yourself in those three? I mean, everybody's going to be some mix of each of them. Nobody's one exclusively, but what do you think about yourself in that position?
I feel like most of my setups are already like established, so there's no hardcore thinking when it comes to like me being able to like confirm a splash on someone's wake up or something like that. So I would have to say I'm majority heart. Because I get so many reads on people, like I thrive on that. And, and secondly, sometimes I like to play risk reward because Zangief has so much health. So I don't know what to exactly call that.
I mean, it's interesting because I was thinking to myself, players who are usually really good at footsies, I kind of classified them as the heart kind of players because they just have really good footsies. But then you said that you went into the lab and found every single move that Zangief had that beat everybody's button. So I feel like that kind of goes into the science path. So I don't know. At this point in time, like I almost feel like you're kind of like a merging of the two of those. So.
I feel like that too, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I think that all the really good players are going to have like at least good of each of those three, and most of them are going to be like awesome in at least a couple of those areas.
Right.
What do you think about yourself with the body side?
The body, I'm not too sure about that.
I mean, I've seen you do Evil Ryu combos before, right? So
I would say I'm. Well, the problem with Evil Ryu combos is that since I used to play on Xbox a lot, now we're PS4. It's kind of hard to like adapt different timings. But I would definitely say with Evil Ryu, I'm body. A lot of body.
Okay, good stuff.
Actually, that's interesting though. Do you think that it changes based on the character that you're playing?
I think so because I only put more focus into certain areas depending on which character I'm playing.
Okay.
I feel like you don't really have to be too good of an Evil Ryu to beat someone because if you land about 2 combos, they're dead.
Right. And low forward fireball is such a good footsie's crutch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so hit confirmable. And,
oh man, tell me about it.
and it's so safe on block too, right? So for the most part, if you're not super right next to them, but yeah. Okay.
And then let's talk about Street Fighter V a little bit.
Street Fighter V. Yes.
You got a chance to play it at SCR?
Yes.
Is that the only place that you've played it so far?
That's the only place I've played the build with Zangief in it.
Okay.
Okay.
But you've played it other than that? I mean, you have the betas?
Yeah.
Okay. What are your thoughts so far, just in general?
Well, if it wasn't for Zangief, I probably wouldn't be playing the beta.
Okay.
But I think the game... See, every time I talk to someone, they always say the game is boring and it doesn't have anything and stuff like that. But I think it's interesting in a different way. Like you can't do the same things you do in Street Fighter 4. Yeah. Zangief is really interesting to me. Like I don't know exactly what his game plan is right now, but it seems like he's doing more than 1 or 2 things like in Street Fighter 4. And I like that because I want to be, I like to do a bunch of things. He can actually dash now. He has about 3 ways to deal with projectiles. He has an air SPD. I mean, I love that. I mean, he doesn't have Siberian Blizzard anymore, but he has air SPD. So, yeah.
Dude, I mean, like, so you're basically trading, not having it all the time for this really good invincible thing to having it all the time.
All the time.
It's not going to be invincible, but still the call out when it's so good.
I still haven't tested Air EX SPD to see if it's invincible at all. I don't know.
Right. Like
probably not.
I hope so. It is.
It's probably not.
That'd be so good.
You just do it all the time now, right?
Know, right?
It wouldn't be a good idea for them to make it invincible, but I would have no problems with that.
That'd be pretty stupid, actually. Well, okay. I mean, I know I'm looking forward to Zangief a lot in that game. I'm really stoked for him.
He's got such a lot of just really interesting tools. Yeah. So I just feel like you said, there's going to be more to do with him while you play and such. So.
Yeah, because generally you want to get away from Zangief, but if you're jumping away, now he can air. Now you can't escape his SPD on the ground. Right. He has it in the air now. So.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, we'll talk, I guess, a little bit more on Zangief's Street Fighter 4 strategy in just a little bit. But do you want to take a break right now and then come back and do...
Yeah, sure. So when we come back, we'll be looking at some match analysis We're going to look at a couple of matches that this guy has had against Bonchan, actually.
Yeah.
Red Bull Bonchan.
That's right.
And we'll just, sort of follow along and see what's going on with them. And we'll probably pause the video a bunch of times just to talk about it. So, anyway, that'll be good when we come back.
All right, be right back.
All right, welcome back. So like I said, we're going to talk about some matches. We're going to go through a couple matches that you've had against Bonchan, Sagat, from Final Round. And then also more recently from Canada Cup. Yeah. And, we thought that these would be interesting to look at because, I guess a couple of reasons. Bonchan's one of the best players right now. And
he's so good.
The matchup is not a matchup that's good for Zangief.
Definitely not.
So I thought that it would be, or actually it was James's idea to take a look at it, to sort of break down how you approach both of those things. Somebody who has a character, so the character matchup, but then separately also the player matchup. Like what are your thoughts on both of those?
Yeah, well, first of all, the first thing that I want to know is what do you rate the match?
I rate the match 6.5.
Oh, really? 6.5, 3.5, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's actually not as bad as I thought. Okay, cool.
It's because when he gets knocked down, it's trouble for him. It's not necessarily free for him to wake up and his tiger uppercut FADC backdash isn't safe. So that means he doesn't have a reliable escape option.
Okay.
But I feel like Bonchan as a player he's the best Sagat, hands down. But I feel like he has a little bit of trouble against grapplers. I feel like he's scared now.
Okay.
And his tendencies are too. He doesn't stop doing whatever he does. He just keeps doing it over and over and over. And there's no point in what he adapts to certain situations, but those like hardcore tendencies, he will always do them. So at the beginning of my match at Canada Cup, I tested him with something. I'm like, he actually did what I thought he was going to do, so I was like, I'm just going to flow chart.
Wow.
All right.
Well, flow charting Bonchan.
I know. Yeah. I guess we'll look at that, but we're going to look at the final round one first.
Okay.
So you want to start the thing over here?
Here we go. Yeah,
Bonchan versus Snake Eyez.
So you started with Zangief.
So pause it. We're gonna be doing this a lot.
All right.
What's your opening gambit idea in this matchup? Like, what do you tend to do at the start?
Well, I figure since he doesn't have any resources, as in like bar or any meter, I'm going to take a lot of risks, and I'm not going to take that much damage if he happens to punish me because he doesn't have anything to really damage me with. So I'll take the gamble at the beginning.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Let's see if that happens.
I mean, you start walking forward for sure, and then you're going in with the green hand.
Okay, yeah, there's a jump.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a little bit more aggressive at the start. Now, at this point, obviously, Sagat is really good at keeping Zangief out with stand roundhouse, tiger shots, high and low. So what is your goal? What are you trying to do? Like, what are you looking for to get in? Are you looking to jump over a high tiger? Are you looking to green hand a low tiger?
Well, Zangief doesn't really have too much of a solid option as far as the neutral game to get in against Sagat. But the one thing I look for, I hate saying that.
I know. I know.
The one thing I look for is to whiff punish his standing roundhouse with stand strong or standing roundhouse.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
And that's my primary source of damage in this matchup.
You're sort of walking into that range where that's the viable option, and then.
And sometimes I like to put him in the jump medium kick, jump fierce punch mix up because at certain ranges, jump fierce punch will stuff tiger uppercut cleanly, no trade. And if I can get jump medium kick to,
is there audio on it? I don't think there's audio on this.
Oh no, check it out.
Yeah, it's zero.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh. Interesting. People saying it's. Oh, maybe some people are saying they want the audio. So.
Anyway.
Okay.
So so if I land jump medium kick into atomic suplex, then that's a chance at the round being over completely. Especially if I get him in the corner. And that's mainly what I'm looking for.
Okay,
that makes sense.
I mean, like one of the things, there was a joke one time that someone put a picture of a joystick that you were using, and like one of the buttons was like whiff punish. Like, how do you whiff punish Sagat standing roundhouse with your standing roundhouse? That's ridiculous. So. It's so crazy. Yeah. So I mean, he pretty much had a standard first round against you.
And I remember at one point he was saying that this matchup is impossible for Zangief.
Uh-huh.
Now maybe the translation was, maybe it didn't really mean that, but that kind of gave me like more motivation to be good at this matchup.
Okay. Yeah, I know definitely for a Zangief player, this becomes a specialty matchup.
Everyone keeps saying there's audio. How is there audio? I have this like on mute.
I don't know.
Audio's on?
I'm not sure. But yeah, I know that this matchup becomes a specialty, right? Like you have to expect that people will counterpick you in this matchup, so you just have to like put in the time.
Yeah, there was a point in Vanilla where I didn't get actually when I first started playing this game and I went to tournament.
They're just trolling. So.
Oh.
Okay. All right.
I have never had a chance to play any other character but Sagat, so I didn't know what other matchups were like.
Yeah, in Vanilla, I just went to Dalsum. That was good enough.
Yeah, if you played Zangief in Vanilla, you weren't going to play against anyone else but Sagat.
Yeah, basically so, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, okay, so you were trying for that kind of mix-up right there, right? Yeah. It was either jump fierce or jump medium kick, but he had the invincible option.
Yeah, I feel like he shouldn't have did that, but it's a risk on his part.
Yeah, of course.
If he uppercuts me, I'm not dead. But if I ultra and he uppercuts, he's dead. So that's kind of the mindset I had going into that.
What are you thinking right here?
I am like, man, I'm done with Zangief right now. I'm going to Evil Ryu. Screw this.
Yeah. Is that something that you had been practicing before this a lot?
Yes. At the time, I thought that Evil Ryu Sagat was 7-3 in Evil Ryu.
For Ryu, oh really?
Yeah, but Bonchan told me that's 5.5 Evil Ryu.
Like slight advantage.
Yeah, and that was surprising when he told me. I'm like, this cannot be true. And then I played him, and I just got destroyed for a while. Like, I think he beat me like 15-3 or something like that.
Dang.
And I don't know if it's because he's been playing against Daigo nowadays, or
sure, that makes sense. I'm sure he knows the character really well. Yeah. But you play this character differently than Daigo does.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like you definitely play a grappler Evil Ryu.
Yes,
you do.
I can't see it, man.
Really? Are you serious? Like the jump timings that you use are like definitely Zangief jump timings.
So now that you switched to Evil Ryu, what's your game plan?
My game plan now is that I'm either going to jump and land a combo for 50%.
Like that?
Or I'm going to low for a fireball.
So you're just trying to find like the spot on screen where you can do those things?
Yeah.
That's it.
Or I want to focus dash his fireball on reaction so that I can throw punish his recovery.
Right. Yeah, I think we saw a bunch of that too. Yeah, like look at where you're fighting from, I don't know. I feel like you're looking to walk in and out of jab pile driver range.
Ooh.
I was actually scared right here to charge up the fireball because I didn't do a frame perfect ultra right when I focused crumpled. So I think the ending animation of the charge up fireball would have whipped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely looks like that's exactly what you're doing, just finding those opportunities to jump in. You've gotten 2 jumps now. Oh.
Yeah, 2 jumps against Bonchan Sagat in one round. I feel like that's something that most people who play a Ryu or Evil Ryu don't get. Just because they're not playing for the same sort of jump situations.
Yeah.
So, I mean... no, actually, I totally forgot what I was going to ask, so never mind. Sorry.
There's actually Evil Ryu can jump at Sagat from a certain range on the ground in the neutral game, and there's nothing Sagat can do about it. Because his tiger uppercut will whiff in the neutral.
Like if you empty jump?
If I jump roundhouse and he tiger uppercuts, he can't.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
It'll whiff. The only thing he can do is stand strong, but he has to make sure I'm close enough so that he gets the close strong instead of the far strong.
Okay. Yeah, the little frame trap stuff. Oh, look at these combos. Oh. Commentator's curse from like 8 months ago.
Never mind about being that body player, right? So dropping your combos. Oh, from the front. Yeah. Oh, again.
Oh, no.
Yo, he just turned crouch tech into uppercut. That was pretty sick.
I think that's
actually.
some Bonchan tech.
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
Yeah. You know, Japanese players have so much tech, man.
Yeah.
And it's normal out there, but it's like kind of bizarre to us.
It's good. I wish the players in the U.S. did that sort of stuff.
There you go. Walk up throw. That's some Zangief stuff right there.
The walk speed is his walk speed is ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. It's really good.
I mean, you just got 2 throws. That's the 4th throw that you went for in a row now. Totally playing this Zangief Evil Ryu.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
now,
you see Fudo in the background being like, "Look at this guy playing Evil Ryu. I can't believe this. He plays it totally differently." He's got his arms out.
If you look in the back, you can see Daigo laughing so hard.
Oh, really?
Daigo's
awesome.
just having a field day.
That's awesome.
Dude, that's awesome. Freaking Daigo. Daigo, way more of a troll than a lot of people know. Dude, did you just whiff punished him with standing fierce?
Yeah, that button's good, man. Oh.
Yeah.
It's a soft knockdown on that standing
I know,
fierce.
yeah.
Oh, wow, I thought he could have uppercutted there.
Yeah, that was on the margins. He's so good at that, the down jab links.
Yeah. Isn't that
He's
like
so
a
consistent.
link?
Yeah. So at this point, when you don't have that much life with Evil Ryu, are you playing differently?
Definitely. I'm going for so many risks. I did like a medium axe kick because I was expecting him to try to focus it.
Uh-huh.
And I was going to go into crouch fierce axe kick.
So when you have less life, you take more risks,
Or
or at least maybe first round. I don't know.
for the first round, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just that I'm starting to not. I don't want him to be able to adapt because
Right.
I feel like he's figuring me out.
Okay.
And I'm not as advanced with Evil Ryu as he is with Sagat.
Oh, look at you. There you
For
go.
sure. Yeah, look at this series right now. Ooh. Oh, man, you got the stun even? Dang. Oh.
Yeah, I didn't have to do that.
Yeah,
but,
this doesn't... Oh, it does go, okay. Well, so it's been working. So in this is the last round now, obviously. Last round, just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Are you approaching this round differently?
I feel like my consistency got a little better right here. So I'm like, as long as I don't mess up anything, I can win this.
Ooh, yeah, and then you go... So, I mean, was it a conscious thing that you were going to go for as many frame traps as possible, or were you just doing because you've obviously gone for a lot of throws, so is that just kind of... You're just going for a lot of frame traps and throws?
The EX overhead.
Dude, that's such an SVD, dude. That's
Right? Yeah.
Such a walk-up SVD.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, good stuff there.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, why isn't he crouch tech? And I'm like, you know what? It's in there somewhere. It's in there somewhere. I'm going to delay this at a certain time where it's going to catch something. And I popped a crouch fierce, and sure enough, it counter hit him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess let's load up the next video.
Sure.
This is going to be at Canada Cup.
Yeah,
You go with Zangief again.
Yeah.
Why not Evil Ryu?
You know what? I actually played against him in Japan. In 3 first to 7s, and he beat me the first to 7-4. Then the second one was 7-6.
Which character?
Zangief Sagat.
Okay.
Then the last first to 7 was 7-6 in my favor.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Oh, 7-6 in your favor.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
know.
oh my god, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, okay, I think I understand Bonchan now. He's actually very afraid of Zangief.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't like when I jump. Even though, I would say Sagat has the best anti-air against Zangief because
Right.
he gets to trade and then he gets toward roundhouse in the
Yeah.
in the ultra
He has
or,
good buttons.
or fireball.
Right.
Yeah, so
But I mean, look, spoiler alert. I mean, this is a 4-minute match. I mean, you blow him up pretty badly. I remember watching.
It's 3 minutes and 44 seconds. That's the
I know.
length of the video.
like how do you go into this match with confidence? It's such a tough thing to do, right?
well, I've been through so many years of playing against Sagat that now the current version of Sagat actually isn't as powerful as vanilla. at all.
for sure.
I mean, and Zangief definitely isn't as good as. Well, I don't. Me personally, I don't think he's as good as his vanilla counterpart.
Yeah, I guess.
Right.
Some people were asking what you think of Zangief versus Hugo. Like, how do you rate that match?
I think it's slight Hugo advantage.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he can SPD my green hand on hit, and then he has like really nice clap setups on my wake up where he can do like a far clap and OS in the ultra too, and Yeah, his buttons kind of outrange mine, and it's kind of hard.
Okay, well,
let's check out how you did against Bonchan for the rematch.
Yeah, I just remember watching this, and it blew my mind at just how quickly it went. Like you literally made it look like it was a bad matchup for Sagat.
Yeah, I really like that early jump early fierce, I should say.
So I mean, do you feel like you picked up any new things when you went to Japan? Like what did you add to your game mostly after coming back from Japan?
Well, now I found out that a lot of Japanese players like to do delayed crouch tech with crouch strong, and then if your counter hits you, they continue the combo, and then they mix that up with a fast meaty option select for your backdash.
Okay.
Or they throw, and I'm like, okay, I like this triangular type system of frame traps on your wake up, and I didn't really know that was a thing,
And now you're in. So I mean, does Sagat have as much problems with that Zangief vortex?
Oh yeah, okay. his tiger uppercut actually isn't that great on wake up. I would say Ken probably has the best dragon punch because it's really hard to. Zangief's body splash actually isn't all that great. T-Hawk's body splash is 1,000 times better. Sure. So against certain characters, he has a really hard time setting them up with splash. But for Sagat, he has a really far horizontal range on his tiger uppercut, so you can kind of make it whiff when you jump over his head.
So the one thing that I will notice is that I felt like this is something I saw Hagijin do a lot, which is EX green hand kind of like as a horizontal uppercut. So I noticed that when you came back from Japan, I feel like you do that a lot now too. Is that something that you consciously picked up, or is that just did you consciously put that into your game a little bit more?
Well, I only really use EX green hand for tiger shots and tiger knees, and I realized that instead of just waiting to block his tiger knee and see if it's safe or not, just EX green hand it before it even gets to you.
Oh man!
I feel like in that first game I saw a couple more meaty option selects from you, and a little bit more risk in the neutral game. I feel like those are two different things that were. Yeah, there's another OS to follow up that we didn't really see the first time in the final round match anyway.
Yeah, I actually discovered standing medium kick. It kind of lingers out there and it's really active.
Yeah.
And I feel like Bonchan, he likes to wait for a button to whiff and throw a tiger shot right behind it.
So he can actually end up throwing the tiger shot into the
standing medium kick.
Interesting.
Yeah. So his own reactions is killing him.
So I also noticed a couple of times that you used EX SPDA once you walked up to him. What's the reason for just so you can get back in and?
Well, the thing about whiffing green hand into into regular SPD is that regular SPD is 2 frames. So if they're throwing out a button and it just so happens to hit you on that second or first frame, they'll hit you. But EX SPD is instantly invincible, so it kind of swallows up their attack.
That makes sense.
And also, I get a pretty nice setup from EX SPD.
Yeah, we also saw that stand roundhouse with punish on Sagat's stand roundhouse. It's so ridiculous.
This is where Zangief is way better than he was in vanilla. When you have those 4 bars,
yeah.
he's so scary.
That's the only part that makes me want to say that this Zangief.
Yeah, that's the only contention.
1.04
might be the best.
Yeah.
Or no, pre 1.04, whatever. 1.03, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, do you think that do you like how you dealt with Bonchan the second time, or is there anything that you would have changed? Even though you won, I mean, are there improvements that you?
Well, I feel like my setups could have been more crisp. I saw one empty jump atomic suplex that he threw me out of.
Right.
And then
after delayed wake up.
Yeah, and then there was another time where I knocked him down with something, and I walked forward and did splash, and he tiger uppercutted me. That's never supposed to happen.
So, going into Capcom Cup, how do you feel now? How confident do you feel?
I feel pretty confident, but there's some matchup knowledge I always seem to not have when I'm going up against someone. Like, for example, at Canada Cup, I trained against Ken for Momochi. Kuma after Tokido beat me.
Right. And you usually beat Tokido in casuals, right?
Yeah. Well, he had Haikajin there at the tournament to play against.
Okay.
And although that, that gives him a slight edge, but my approach towards him was really bad.
Oh, really? I
was like, I'm just going to finish him off, And Tokido's a good player. Like, you can't just, do him like that. So.
Well, who are you worried about at Capcom Cup?
I feel like Dashio might be a problem. I feel like that matchup is actually Zangief's worst matchup. Like,
really? Okay.
Is that the only reason you're worried about Dashio? Is just the character or the?
He maximizes the character.
He's really good with the character.
Yeah, but it's the character.
Okay.
And who else? I'm not really scared of too many people at Capcom Cup.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident against a lot of people.
Are there people who you would not? You don't have to say who, but are there people who you would not go Zangief with?
Yes.
Really?
You don't have to divulge any secret info.
Okay.
But I still feel like there's a winning chance with Zangief against them. It's just that Evil Ryu makes it easier.
Yeah.
And blind pick is a factor.
Definitely. I mean, there are people who are going to have a bunch of different characters. There are people who have 3-4 different characters, or Infiltration has like 10 characters.
Yeah. That guy, I don't know who he's going to pick when I play him. I'm like, I'm just going to go to Zangief. I'm not even going to blind pick him.
Right.
That makes sense, yeah. He went Hugo last time you guys played.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And I'm so mad I lost.
I know.
I got hit with like 70 meat squashers.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, though. I mean, I kind of talked to you about this with Canada. I mean, this is less about the matches again, just more about Snake Eyez and stuff. Like, as you were growing up and such, like, did you ever, like, what was it that you felt like you wanted to do? And, was anything like this ever something that you would expect to happen?
You know what? This experience from having this much success in the FGC is definitely surreal, but when I was younger, I always wanted to be this.
Okay.
To be honest. And for it to actually happen is kind of like, trippy.
Right.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, how just a question, how often do you get recognized, like, in the regular streets and stuff like that?
Oh, man, people recognize me all the time.
Really? Like how many times per week?
Well, I haven't been going out much because of Capcom Cup.
Okay.
I've been in the house grinding.
All right, yeah. But it does happen pretty often?
But at restaurants, people are like, hey, man, you're Snake Eyez.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
That's so cool.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
How did you get that name, by the way?
Actually, I just cycled through a bunch of names, and I was like, you know what? Snake Eyez sounds pretty sick.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no, like, crazy story behind it.
Okay, all right.
Well, obviously, one heiress has kind of given you a secondary nickname of Dragon Eyez.
Yeah.
Like, do you like that, or will you adopt that?
I actually like that name. On PC, my name is Dragon Eyez.
Wow. Right.
And on Xbox, my name is FGC Dragon Eyez.
Dang,
Dude,
all right.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So
now, if you have to play Keoma first, a lot of people are talking about this in the chat at Capcom Cup. How are you going to approach that? He's a really strong able.
Oh, is that like how it's positioned right now?
That's what
probably.
everybody's saying. I guess we'll see. But
well, I actually haven't studied his able too much right now, but I play Rico and Strider enough, and I feel like I have a general idea of how to fight. Also, there's another SoCal able named Futile.
Oh yeah,
and he's actually pretty good too. I've
good.
also played against a NorCal able. His name is Mike something. I can't remember his name.
Oh, Chow?
Mike Chow. He actually beat me in a tournament. And I've played against these guys, and I feel like Abel Zangief is 5'5", probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know how good Keoma is.
He looked really solid.
I think he's
I just don't understand how someone from Brazil even has knowledge of a matchup.
Right.
I mean, they have a pretty strong scene.
Yeah, they have a pretty decent scene there. So, I mean, between Keoma, Shushu, and a lot of those players in Brazil, very strong core group there. So, I mean, he beat Haitani, right? That's not easy to do. But apparently Haitani was really nervous, which is odd. So
yeah, I looked at that match, and I feel like he played with Rufus kind of strangely against Abel. I feel like he didn't maximize, what Rufus does against Abel.
But I do want to say though, I'm super happy that Keoma tweeted out that they've got all that stuff taken care of.
Oh, the visas.
Oh, the visas.
Yeah. That's pretty.
Yeah,
sick.
he will be there. Yeah, that is good.
I mean, it kind of doesn't matter to me. I'll take the bye,
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, if you want to be there. Yeah. I'm sure they would send somebody else.
Yeah. They probably would.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, is there anything else to talk about? Maybe we can get a question from people or something?
Yeah, is there anything that anybody wants to know about with Mr. Darryl Lewis here?
Yeah, let us know if anybody has some interesting thing that we haven't talked about. It's been cool talking with you, though. Thanks for coming over.
You guys too, man. Yeah. I'm glad.
It's always neat to get that kind of top player perspective and such. Well, okay, here's a question for you. So while we're waiting for some more questions, Nemo just recently rated a bunch of the top players.
I saw that.
And you were in that list, right? So you were actually... How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel pretty good. Actually, I played him in the first of 10 when I went to Japan, and he came back on me 4 games straight, and I didn't. Like when something bad is happening, you're like, okay, I'm not going to let this happen.
Right.
And then it's still happening. You're like, I need to focus harder on not allowing this to happen. And then it just fully happens, and that's kind of how he won the first of 10. You know what I mean? Right. He's really solid. He makes me feel like Rolento is a really strong character.
Yeah. He is super good with that character.
Some people are asking how you met Vibe. That was just all through Wednesday Night Fights.
That was all.
Yeah, that was just all through Wednesday.
And just tournaments and stuff.
How do you train at home? Like, what's your training routine?
Currently, I've been playing a lot of online. And
is that really it?
Well, no, that's definitely not it.
Okay.
What I kind of like theorize in training mode, like what certain people should be doing. I look at YouTube videos, and I kind of remember people's like tendencies when they play certain characters. I feel like a lot of people play matchups correctly, but they let their tendencies get in the way of being able to do certain things at certain times. And a lot of people are nervous when they're playing against Zangief, Like, it's always that chance that one slip up could mean the loss of a round or a match. And I kind of like just ride off of that, you know what I mean? I kind of let that happen and play off of fear against most people.
Right. So if you decided not to play Zangief in Street Fighter V, who would you use? Would you just find another grappler? Like, would you go with, Birdie, Laura, all these characters, or would you try something completely different?
Well, you know what? Since Ryu wasn't in the current... Zangief wasn't in the current beta version. I didn't know who to play. I didn't want to really play Birdie because I kind of already know how to play him, and I wanted to try someone else. So I tried Ryu, and he's actually really fun in that game.
Ryu's sick in that game.
He does a lot of damage.
Yes.
Yeah, he has like standing roundhouse into crouch strong and a DP and things like that. And he hits pretty hard. There's no more there's like 2-hit jab confirms and short confirmed, but you can chain like a lot of hard attacks into mediums and stuff like that. But even Ryu is really really fun to play. Yeah. I feel like Birdie would be my choice though in that game. If Zangief wasn't in there.
I can see that.
Okay.
Birdie and probably Ryu as a backup.
Somebody notices that you land less Ultra Ones like raw. Is that intentional? Do you not do that very often?
Ultra One?
Just the 720. Like, are you looking to land that in
raw.
random situations or wake up situations, or is it mostly just like after a crumple or?
I use Ultra One as a punish for moves that are -1. And sometimes I might do an occasional walk up 720 because a lot of people think that walk up 720 is hard to confirm, but it's actually easier to confirm than a regular SPD is, because if I do like jab walk up, if you're still right there, you're done. And the flashes, you're gonna get caught. But if I SPD, you have one frame to jump out.
Right.
And that could actually, happen. And it really matters sometimes.
Yeah, this is a question from me here. When NorCal was up, 4-0.
Yeah.
How did you feel? Did you feel like you could make that comeback across the whole entire team?
You know what? When you think about 5 versus 1, it seems like an extremely... when you think about 5v1 versus these NorCal players, these really good players, it seems like a really hard thing to, do. It feels like it's hard to beat them, but the way I thought about it was, it's just Eduardo and Ricky and maybe Hoopman.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And no disrespect to the other players, but if I can beat Eduardo and Hoopman,
you're good.
I'm good.
Okay.
It's just 1 against 2 or 3,
Gotcha.
Who was the best Zangief that you studied, or did you study a Zangief? Did anybody was there any like prototypical? And then after that, what do you think about in style, you versus Itabashi versus Hagijin? Like, how do you guys differ?
So when I was learning Street Fighter 4, the Zangief I actually modeled mine off after was Cantona. And at the time, around Vanilla, I don't know when Hagijin came around, or I know Itabashi and Cantona were always around, but I don't know when Hagijin came around. But Cantona was by far the best Zangief in Vanilla, and I was like, man, this guy's so good. I want to play like him. He used to play Alpha 3 actually. He was really good in that game too. But then after that, Cantona kind of started. I think he played a little less, and he kind of, fell off a little bit. Not too much, but so I kind of just took what I thought was good that he did, and I kind of put on layers of my style to it.
Okay.
And that's when I started seeing a lot of success.
I was talking to some pro players at Canada Cup. I think it was like Ryan Hart or maybe a few people, and they were talking about all the Zangiefs, and they were just like, it's not even a competition. Snake Eyez is the best Zangief. Like, how does that make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel pretty good. And I saw Ryan Hart destroyed Hagijin at Canada Cup, and I was just like, I guess different play styles are hard to deal with sometimes, because he beat Bonchan 3-1 in Topanga A-League not too long ago, and then he just gets bodied by Ryan Hart. It was a pretty quick match.
Well, what do you think about the difference in style between you, Hagijin, Ito-san?
I feel like Ito-san specializes in the Fei Long matchup, but
that makes sense.
But he's the craziest out of all of us.
Yeah.
But in the Dawson matchup, I feel like Hagijin is the craziest out of all of us. I feel like Hagijin is very good against his Japanese fellow playmates. He's very, very knowledgeable. He knows how to tease you with the neutral stance, and he has all the punishes down. He actually, I think he's better than me in the Balrog matchup.
Oh,
I saw him punish standing first punch with standing roundhouse, so I'm like, I'm taking that.
Nice.
And it's for me as a player, my style is always changing, because the moment I see something, I'm immediately taking it.
Absorbing it, right.
And since it's Zangief, I don't have to practice it. I can just see it and be like, oh, that
works. Was that on with standing fierce, or was that on block standing fierce?
That was with. Yeah, if that was on block, that would make me happy.
Okay.
What do you do? Or wait, did we talk about style in total?
Yeah, a little bit.
Right, cool. What do you do outside of fighting games?
Well, since Capcom Cup's near, but I used to play basketball a lot, actually.
Nice.
Okay.
I used to go paintball shooting a lot. My paintball gun broke, so I can't go anymore. I have to get it fixed. I hang around the movie. I used to hang out with my friend Dave a lot. He's like this big guy. He used to wear like a big chain around his neck. like a really big. He actually got me into playing Zangief.
Oh,
that's cool.
Okay,
we used to. I kind of used to go over his house, and we used to play like emulated games and all the old school fighters, World Heroes, Fighters History, Dynamite, and stuff like that.
Sweet.
And we used to watch movies and stuff. That was that took up a lot of my time.
Yeah. All right. Who would you say are the top 5 characters in SF4, and who are the top 5 players?
Internationally?
Just in general.
In general. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like Ivory is definitely up there.
Yeah.
Elena is definitely up there. Ken.
Oh, really? Okay.
These two are kind of tricky for me, but I feel like Buki is very much up there. And then I feel like Seth.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
His characters are very, very good.
Okay. And then players?
Players. Well, Daigo, you haven't really. No one has seen him lately.
Yeah, he kind of went secret. Oh, did you? Oh, yeah.
And he's very good right now.
Did you play him in Japan?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Okay, cool.
He has probably mastered Iwari. I feel like Nemo is very good right now.
Yeah.
Momochi, of course. I mean, that's even statistically, he has to be there. Gamer B is doing really good, and then Tokido, but Tokido is very on and off. Right. Tokido actually lacks confidence. It may not seem like it, but he really does.
Well, I mean, it seemed like he was playing on a completely different level at Canada Cup. So.
Yeah, that was super good.
Yeah, do you feel like that's going to be something that'll last during Capcom Cup?
I feel like it might, but Capcom Cup is a very big tournament, and I feel like Tokido might get a little nervous.
Okay.
Yeah, if he could play against other people, like if he had an upcoming match against a certain character, and he can play against he can have Bonchan or Fudo play that character against him before that match, then he has a very big chance of winning.
I mean, there are only 32 players, and you're going to know who you're matched up with in advance and who's in your potential bracket.
Right.
So I mean, he can game plan, and everybody can game plan.
Yeah. It's just that the Japanese players are willing to do that for each other, and the American players aren't. So So that's gonna be a big obstacle.
Okay.
American players, they kind of don't want to do anything for each other.
Right.
I mean, I'm down to do that, but.
That's why when you mentioned that you practiced with Xiaohai a bunch of times, I was actually really surprised by that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Xiaohai's pretty cool. Like if he actually speaks English, so you just ask him something, and he'll probably do it.
Okay, cool.
Well, anything else to talk about here?
I mean, I'm good.
You're good. All right. All right. Well, I guess that's it. Thanks for coming on and talking with us about it.
No problem.
It's cool to have you on.
It was great being here.
Yeah. I mean, we want to get more guests on here and stuff.
Yeah,
I was really glad to get you on here.
Yeah. This is the first time you guys have had a guest, right?
Well, we've had
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. We're bad with that. So.
That's true. We're definitely trying to do it more often.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So, yeah, definitely. Good luck at Capcom Cup.
Thank you.
I hope that it goes well for you. And
do you have any other events before Capcom Cup?
There's a tournament coming up called Rewired in Arizona.
Right, yeah.
And I'll be going to that.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool.
And Vi just announced some kind of tournament at the esports arena where it's $5,000 for Street Fighter 4. And he just announced it a week ago.
Okay,
I already booked my flight for Rewired, so I'll just go to that instead.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
That sounds good. Well, the series is out. Do you know the release schedule?
So the series, a new episode gets released every Tuesday at 10 a.m. And the last one gets released about a week after Capcom Cup. There was actually an episode that got released today at 10 a.m.
Yes.
And you guys can view it at redbull.com/cultivation.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I did see it.
Pretty
really
sick.
good.
I don't want to spoil it.
It's really well done. Shout outs to Red Bull. I mean, seriously, they're doing some great stuff.
They are
with these
amazing.
Players.
Yeah. Anything else you want to plug? Plug your stuff.
You can follow me on Twitter at Snake _Eyez with a Z _. And you can follow me on Facebook. I have a fan page, Snake Eyez with a Z at SF.
Okay.
And then do you stream?
Not too much anymore.
Okay.
I'll probably get back to that after Capcom Cup because I don't want anyone
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can follow me on Twitch or at Twitch Snake _Eyez _.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Well, thanks a lot for coming on. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah, man. Thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
having me.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I guess that's about it. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
All right. Peace.